Hello YouTube, my name is SV and we are playing Satisfactory today. It's been a little bit since we checked in. I'm going to do a little bit of a tour here, but you also may notice that I'm well above the factory floor and I'm just flying around over here. We've got the pack utility mod loaded because it's easier for me to move around in instances like this when I have to do large scale buildings. So number one, this is up and running. Don't forget, this is our iron factory that produces iron plates, iron rods, and then 2 full rooms of screws there. So that's up and running. We've redone the train lines a little bit, but today we're going to fully finish them. So train lines are now on the middle line of these foundations. And I had to do a whole bunch of finagling with these paths and block signals and that sort of a thing because it was truly a nightmare. They were stopped, they were running into each other, that sort of a thing. Here's underneath the iron factory, and you've got the inbound iron ingot, which looks like it's backed up here, and then here's the outbound screws train, and then over here again, inbound iron ingot, outbound. This is rods, this is plates, and I did take a bit of, I don't know if you would consider it a shortcut, but it kind of is. A way for the iron train, basically if it didn't unload all the iron here, it moves down and unloads it here. It's been working pretty well, obviously they're backed up. So what I'm talking about today though, about redoing the train lines, is I built this train tunnel. This takes us all the way to a few places. That's aluminum, so that's out of our aluminum. You can see here comes our aluminum train. That's into aluminum. You take this all the way down, and this is why I have a fly mod. Imagine walking this space, which I did actually on the floor above. I'll show you that. Going all the way over here. That's the starter. And I didn't shift these train lines to the center yet. We'll do that when we delete the starter and officially make it a full base. And then over here, I extended this all the way over. Here's where we'll have plastic produced. This will be our official plastic production area. And then over here, I thought this was going to be a barrier. Like, I thought this was going to kill us coming out over on this side, but it did not. And then it stops right here because we're just going to have a massive train station that intakes all of the materials of the desert in and then takes it back to our base. So a lot of prep work. I think this is hydrogen. Yeah, oh, nitrogen, that's right. A lot of prep work for future stuff. We'll still have factories on this side. We could still have factories on this side. We could have factories pretty far along this way here, so we might even have 2 rows of them, in addition to the plastic here. And obviously, you could still have them all the way over here, 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 all the way down. But we started in the flying view up above the factory because over here, I think this is actually the limit. We might not build on this side as much as we build on this side. But we started in a flying view because I wanted to show you what the factory looks like from above. And currently, I think it looks frickin' cool, as you could see. So we've got that train station over there, bringing in materials from this area. And we don't even have everything covered. Like, there's a ton of materials still that need to come in. So we'll do that. Ooh, one thing I gotta show that I don't think I've shown on stream yet You may notice I don't have the research for Mark III miners still showing on the top right there. It's because I did a little exploring and built this line up here, up this way, and you'll notice that there's just a nitrogen gas. Is this nitrogen gas? I don't know if, hold on, let's look. Yeah, nitrogen gas node. I have tapped it all the way, but we're not using obviously all of them. And a very poorly executed design here, but I hooked up this blender to create fused modular frames with just temporary inputs of all of this. And we've got our fused modular frames, and it turns out Mark III miner, crazy expensive to build. So we definitely are taking this apart right now, because this is a future project that we could tackle when we have a little bit more sustainability. Oh shit, I didn't realize I had full inventory. Alright, let's go dump some stuff and then we'll come back. So yes, I know I'm flying around and it's a little bit of a cheat, but it's okay. You'll see why we need it for when it's time to build the train lines. So we'll leave that path there for now, just to give us reference on where it's located, because it can be hard to find. Oh shit, that's a lot of heavy modular frames that we dumped into that. And I've needed those before as I've been building things, so probably should have thought about going over there. Let's dump some of this stuff off. I think that's okay so far. So I haven't been playing for a few days because of a number of things. One, I got sick. Nothing major, just basically a cold. Not even like feeling that under the weather. It was just annoying, you know, where you just kind of have a little bit of a sore throat. And then on Christmas Day, which, you know, thank you for this gift. Wait, where is my crate here with fused modular frames? Autosave. So yeah, on Christmas Day, I messed up my back. And it has not been great. So right now I'm playing because I'm really tired of just laying on the hardwood floor, not doing anything. And I'm using my standing desk because it feels better for my back than if I wasn't, I guess. Oh, I thought I built that, but no, that's a thing. Okay. So, where, or did we use all the fused frames? No way. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no effing way I used all of those. No other crates nearby? Nope. Alright. We're gonna leave the power lines also. So we'll likely need that anyway. We're for sure gonna build a better experience, especially since that's likely to be on probably the second floor of our base. That's going to be fused, should go here. So we've got a few of those, but clearly not a lot, as one miner takes 10, and supercomputers, and turbo motors, which turbo motor is its own crazy thing, because you need these cooling systems, in addition to radio control units. Like we have the materials for this, we have this. We could build this. This, on the other hand, again, needs a blender with nitrogen gas. Actually, I would probably use this recipe as it seems like it would be an easier experience to execute. And with heat sinks, I probably would go... Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure which recipe I would use there. Anyway, we did a whole bunch of hard drive hunting. Like a ton of it. And I've got 5 hard drives left. With... every time so like the last few that I did, I didn't have any options remaining. Or, I should clarify. The last hard drive I put in, 1 option came back, and that generally means we're out of options. Now, I haven't done it again since we did the... I hate that these things reset occasionally. Like, it actually is a problem that the big statues one resets because it costs 50 tickets each time. And there's no way I'm paying that every time. So we're not going to employ this until it's time for us to actually put up statues. So since the last time I did this, it would be this. It was this one here when I did all the hard drives. And the only potential piece would be these 2. So I'm not sure. There might be different recipes for turbo motors and thermal propulsion rockets, but I'll wait until we do nuclear power and particle enrichment to finish out the hard drives in case there's some recipes there. These are, look how fucking expensive this stuff is. Like, this will actually be, we could more than likely actually finish this out relatively soon. I could handcraft the supercomputers to get that created, but yeah, let's add in some of these materials just to get that piece. 200 heavy modular frames, we should have that no problem. And I built these by just building a manufacturer here in the base, and then having all the materials that were created come in, and then just that gets filtered into a machine. Alright, let's actually tackle the project that we want to tackle today, which is, right now, the train line, as you see it, comes through the base this way. So it takes a turn, comes through the base this way, and that's where it goes. But where it's going to go is follow this road up above here, 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 and this will be the entry point of the train line. The reason for that, and I noticed this as we built that, is our previous train line, actually it won't go directly into the base, it'll turn right here and it'll go on the outside this way, take a turn right here and get added in, is our quartz factory is directly in the way. So I can't put a train station here to intake quartz because the train line directly intercepts with it. So that's why we're going to redo the train line. So we're going to start with just literally creating the foundations. And it's a 4-lane road. And this is why I wanted to use the flight mode, because it's going to be so much faster for us to put this together and line things up. I could turn flight off, and it would just take a little longer, but see, so like that's too far there, and then we just take our turn here. And yeah, I want to make sure I get this right the first time because it obviously has been an issue. Finishing the iron factory was, let's just call it a challenge. It was a lot of work to get that up and running, a lot longer than I expected it to be. See, we've already made a mistake because right now we'd be intersecting underneath the wrong factory. So I think it's here is the line. That's what happens when you're not paying attention. Oh man, it's getting warm in my apartment. Give me 1 second here while I close the window and turn the AC on. It's been unseasonably warm in the area. So I've actually had the AC on, and it's like on Christmas Day I had the AC on. You know, it's wild. Alright, so we're going this way. 4 tiles. Technically, we could go 4 tiles this way as well. Have a couple of different routes for the train. Like, the train could still come down this way, because we're going to keep this 4 tile gap here. So, like, technically this could be a route like so. And then also, because it is a problem sometimes to signify what's supposed to be a train line and what isn't, like, this would get deleted to reflect that it's an actual train line. So even though this foundation's already laid, we would delete it because it's a lot easier to detect, like, okay, this is going to be where we want our train to be passing. So any of the asphalt, which I probably should have picked a better material than that, as it's damn impossible to see the seams sometimes, but whatever. Alright, back to work. We're going this way. Oh man, it's like legit toasty in the apartment right now. Okay, so it appears it's this line here. Yep. And the reason why we're using these lines, there's a little bit more space this way, but if you remember, we tested the boundaries, and it seems to be like a diagonal cut where the kill line is. So I don't want to build a diagonal line like that. Although I guess that would have been cool, but I don't want to spend the time to find where that line exactly is to build against it. This way, we can get moving, potentially work on copper today, get that finished up and running. And then start really building things to replace our starter factory, because right now that starter factory has been up and running for so long and been doing so much work. We definitely need to replace the power plant. For one, now it's hidden underneath our main factory. And number two, it's not producing enough power, or it is right now, but it won't very soon. And so we're trying to eliminate, or I'm trying to say I want to get ahead of the issue. Okay, so where's the line here? We'll take it 3 across, we'll see if that's right. So is it this one? Yep, so then that one goes away. See what I mean? This would be very difficult to tell otherwise. if you weren't in fly mode, because if I wanted to use hover pack, I would need power here, and it's unlikely that I have power in this part of the base right now. Above train lanes, I for sure do. But outside of that, nope. And the problem is going to be when we get to that intersection down there. It's for sure going to be an issue. Getting all the lines connected and not interfering with one another. We're going to have to do some truly special finagling here. Ooh, I need this AC to kick on like right now. Okay, this is where our turn is. So it's right there. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Since there's already an intersection here, we're going to have to be really mindful of how we connect onto these lines as... Let's see. So this road can stay. Where is the problem here? So the problem is that we have our thing coming through here when it technically should be coming through here. Let's see. Having it on fly fast is a little bit of a problem. So technically it should be coming this way. And that's why it's an issue. Because should be 2 tiles this way. This is where our would be on this line, and this line is where it'd be going, coming through. Can we make that work, or is that too close to the train stations? Feels like it might be okay. So what I'm basically saying is, do I want to do 2 distinct train lines in? I mean, it would alleviate some traffic. I mean, also it could go this way to here. It could go this way here. And it could go straight across to here. Let's build that path before we forget. So you see our dilemma. There's a lot of options. And quite a bitch to build, if I'm honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do hate that I'm using the fly mod, or back utility mod, to fly around. But this would take so long. So once we're done redoing these train lines, we have them in a pretty good spot. Well, first of all, actually I like to build train lines while on the ground, because lining them up I find to be easier. Making sure that we've got everything correct. Yeah, and so do we have the materials? Nope. This is the one nice part about the fly mod, is that you could quickly bounce back to base. And we need steel pipes. Do I have any turbo motors? Not a single one, of course. It should be enough for now. Train tracks are actually relatively inexpensive for kind of what they are. And so we're not quite going to connect this just yet. We're going to preemptively build it. And like I said, I like to do this from the ground because you get a better idea of where you're placing, especially when it comes to these corners. So like, actually, this is probably where I want it. So I want my corner to land like so. Okay. That actually feels maybe a little bit too wide a turn? I don't know, hold on. So if it stops there, let's stop it here. And I'm gonna take it to this one maybe? Let's see if I'm crazy. Yeah, that feels better. I'm not sure, it could be exactly the same. Well, that's also the problem. I only built that 3 wide. That explains a little bit. I'm like, it feels like it's too close to the other side. How are we going to put a middle track to it? I'm building the middle track preemptively because I'm thinking I'll need it in the future as like a bypass track. Alright, so we've got 4 here, 4 here. There's a nice little bug or something with, if you have the pack utility mod installed, and you activate fly, like look how much control I have in the air. I'm not a fan of that. I honestly like turn it off when I don't need the fly. Like, I'll uninstall the mod. Okay, so we're doing right-hand drive, train tracks. So this is our into baseline. And this will be our first like major intersection. So I know that I got the angle right is if this line's flat with one of these lines. If the flat lineup is in the middle of the foundation, I redo it to ensure that it lands this way. That way I feel like I've got some consistency in my lines, and it's worked out pretty well so far. Alright, so I think it's going to be this one, probably. Our good friend the autosave. I have vowed to drink a lot more water. I feel like my back issue was specifically because I'm not drinking a ton of water. So, don't mind me if you hear me putting down this can of water. Alright, there we go. And the issue again is going to be when we join up over here, and that's going to have to be, I'll do that after I run the 3 lines over. No, actually we're not joining here, we are joining a little bit later. All of this is because of the location of the quartz factory. But it makes sense, the quartz factory is in a location that makes sense. So it's, we didn't mess that part up, we just messed up the layout of the train lines. It may be a full redo of all trains in here, but this is kind of how you learn in Satisfactory. It's putting things down, seeing what works, and then what's revision 2. And that's kind of where we're at right now, is what is revision 2 of this? I took that back a little further because I want it to maybe end here. That might be too far, but let's see. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so here we'll stop it probably to that. Maybe one more, actually, and then we'll get it, had it in. Let's go to there. And then we're going to build all the way to the other side, just like that. Should be here. And that, yep. See what I mean? Once you start getting the hang of it, you know, I mean, I could just look up how many foundations it is each time, but you just gotta get a little feel of it. It works. But yeah, the intent is that we just knock out these train lines a bit here, then not have to worry about them for moving forward, because we've basically outlined the maximum distance that our trains would be on the outside, and so they would just filter into the base instead of cutting through the middle of it or what have you. That presents a little bit more of a challenge with junctions, though, but that's something that can be fixed. We'll for sure take this into account when we build floor 2 of the factory and have trains there. I can start building drones already. I think we're going to skip, well, maybe not entirely, but we might. Ah, shit. I don't know. I was going to say we might skip a turbo fuel plant and just go straight to nuclear power. The problem there is we don't actually have the production of all the materials needed to kick off nuclear power just yet. And that's a concern. And so the buildup of those materials might actually push us over what our current power grid is now. This is interesting because we did not account for the switch into there. And yeah, that was too far. So let's go to here maybe. Yep, that works. The thing is, we're going to join the train lines probably at this side first, as it's the easier side, and we're really only affecting like 3 or 4 trains, because aluminum, copper, coal, and starter are coming from that side of the world, and then we could affect the rest. Yeah, so instead of them taking a right into the base, they'll be this is a potential hazard already. What is this? A block? A block for what? I think that was a block just so that it didn't take so long to reset that train. But very good. We'll put down the middle line a little bit later. Right now, let's see if we can get this up and running. And we're going to have should we just connect these also right now? So this would potentially run straight across. More lines for the trains to take, I think, is better. Potential to reduce congestion in specific areas. If a train chooses to take a path. The only problem is more signals. So it could go either that way, or it could go this way, and that seems like a pretty aggressive turn. So let's redo this a little bit here. Yeah, we're for sure going to break a lot of things here. So let's take it to this one. And I already redid some of these train lines thinking I was done with this, but I redid it wrong. So there. And so that would be essentially our out of the vase. So I'm not sure why you would go right, but I don't know, maybe there's something up from the copper that goes into some of these other ones. And then from here, it wouldn't, well, I guess it could go straight over, so we might build that also. But here, we would take this to here. I guess trains could just drive around in loops if they wanted to now. Let's say right here. Okay, so it would be coming from that side or from this side. Too sharp a turn. Yeah, so we'd want to take this to, like, let's say here. So yeah, you really have to think about, like, how are these trains going to run? How is that too sharp a turn? Did I take this, like, one foundation too far? Oh, autosave. Thank you for not crashing on me. That felt like it was going to. Okay, so this is basically a right-hand drive. It continues on to the right-hand drive. Similarly from here, it would be from our right-hand drive to our right-hand drive. Now this is a fun little intersection. Probably could have moved this one down a little bit to even that out, but that's okay. Do I have the materials for paths? Nope, I don't have any computers. Let's go get some computers. I did a similar thing that I did with heavy modular frames, where I just built a little setup for computers. So we need paths, and then we need blocks. So let's pick up some of the circuit boards. Obviously we've got circuit boards galore. Let's get some copper sheets, because we need those. Okay, I really did not mean to take that many stacks. Alright, let's go fix that intersection. When building at a scale like this, it's honestly a little fucking crazy. Also, here's the thing I learned about blocks. Because this is a pain in the ass. Whenever you build a block, let's get out of fly mode. Well, actually, you know what? Let's stay in fly mode, but let's go to fly medium. To slow it down here a little bit. Use path signals. What did I just use? A path or a block? A path signal. You want to dictate any path that could intersect this intersection. So the start and end of it. For example, I have a train going this way. It could go to here, or it could go to here. Okay? And see, that creates its own separate thing. What you want to do is isolate this intersection into its own block. So for example, I don't have any trains going this way because we're right-hand drive, but I do have a train going this way. It could go here, or it could go to there. So that's still active. Now I have a train that's coming down this way. So it goes here, and then it can go to here, or it can go to there. And let's see. So these, I think, need to just be block signals. And then that should work. No? What am I missing? There's got to be something I'm missing. Okay, so let's re-add this. So here to there, and there to there, there, there to there. Is it because of a path right here? Or do we need a block signal? Yep. We just need a block signal on the ends of these. This is the frustrating part about this, because this doesn't make any sense on why this wouldn't work. This could be because this interferes with that. Nope, wrong side. That'll for sure mess all that up. And if there's just another block signal here, I think that would work. No. Also, this is probably not long enough for a train. That could be a problem. But we might revise that. I don't know. Okay, let's review this again. Let me actually put this right here. So that goes to there. That should be a valid path. Sometimes, honestly, these things just need to be replaced down because of previous positions, throwing them off. This might have to be a block. And then I think all endpoints need to be blocks. Like, basically the entrances need to be paths, maybe? So that's So that's a block. That's a block. That's a path. That's a block. Let's move this path up to here. I legit thought I had this. Every time I build these, I'm like, oh, I've got this. And then I totally don't have this. Okay, that's a path, so there should be a block right here. And is this just complaining? Let's see what it says. Signal loops into itself. Interesting. Oh, because this is a frickin' circle. Interesting. So maybe we actually need to fix this. To fix that. So this would be a path. And then this would be a block. And that's a path. And that's a block. So... No, that's incorrect. Oh, this doesn't... That's incorrect. It wouldn't take that turn. It would take this turn. And then here. So it could go this way, it could go that way. This one could coming in this way. Right to right. Right to right, right to right. Right to right, right to right. So that goes this way, this comes this way, this way. This, oh no, that does work. Okay, am I lost here? Let's say this can go that way. This could also go this way, because that's along the right hand side. This can turn onto this way to go right, this way to go right. It could obviously go straight, and could go straight. So I think these are actually perfect. Now, let's take it from the paths. So that's one path. Let's take it from this road. Okay, so that's got a block there. That's good. That's there. That's there. This one is a path there. And then we need a block there. And then it obviously goes straight, and that's good. Then last but not least is here, which could go this way or straight, which we will just preemptively get that in. Ooh, auto saves, man. Okay, and then let's connect this to, yeah, let's maybe extend this a little bit here to here. And that, we'll just move that block signal to there. And this should be a path. So that's a path to a block, a path to a block. Is this also going to say it loops in on itself? Block has no exit signal. Oh yeah, because we haven't actually finished that out. Okay, so this, let's see what this says. It's probably going to say the same thing. Loops in on itself. So let's see over here. Yeah, so the problem here is also I want this to be right there. Ooh, train lines. Like, there's no tutorial for this stuff either, so like, how would you ever know how to do this? Okay, so the right can go into that, or it can go straight. Yep. The left can go there or straight. I think this is all correct. Now we'll just block these out. So that's a path there with a block there. This is a path here with a block there. This is a path here that already has a block there, but not there. That path. Let's maybe actually move this block down a little bit. I may have really just overly complicated. So what am I missing? That's a block. It's a path. Does this one have a lot of chance of intersection? Yeah, it could go straight and there could be a train coming this way. So yes, it does. What is this reading? Entry signal types. So what if we do a block here? That goes to there. Let's redo these paths. So that goes to that. That goes to that. And then this one goes to that. And we should be isolating this middle section, which is exactly what we want. Should we just do block signals here instead? And will that help resolve? I mean, it's a pretty ridiculous intersection. That'll resolve that. Let's see if it resolves anything over here. This looks good. And the only conflict is this one, because I don't think we have an endpoint relegated over there yet, and that's the problem. Yeah, it has no exit signal. Didn't mean for caps lock, it just happened to be on. Okay, now we get the lovely job of dealing with this intersection. So we're not going to end that right there. We're going to scoot this a little bit further to there. Okay, yet further to there. So that, and then what to that? Yeah, this is gonna create a shit show here. This is gonna be a problem because, oh, I literally thought that was not gonna allow us to do that. Okay, that is shocking. Alright, now path. to a block. And then path to a block. Ooh-wee. And what is this saying? No exit? Tell me it's saying no exit. Entry signal types. And this is a path signal to a block. Oh, this needs to go away. Or does this just need to be a path? Yeah. That just needed to be its own path because of the intersections here, because that's a path. Ooh, trains are fun. Look, we even have a train using this line already. Did it reserve a path through here? This way, and that's why this isn't waiting? No, that stopped. Did that one reserve a path through? Which one of these two is going to move right now? This is sometimes the dilemma you get when you have trains like this and they just basically will just sit here. And it's usually because there's like a block signal that's too far away. So where's this train want to go? Home. And so does this one, I bet. Home. Yeah. So why are you... Let's put another block right here. Green, green. So it's a path, that's a path. Is this potentially a cause of it? Path, block, block. So why won't either one of you move? Sometimes legitimately it's just like redoing these helps it. Yeah, like that's... So is it this one that's the issue? Because this is a ridiculous intersection if you look at it. So it may be actually counting all of this as its own path here. And therefore making it a more complicated intersection than it needs to be. Let's see. Oh man, that autosave is killer. I want to see this aluminum train go. That one shouldn't be affected by the oncoming. Kind of had a feeling that that one would help this train move. How do we get that aluminum train going? Because it is actually the one that would be holding up other trains because of a reservation. Okay, so that's that. Now you're good. Good job. So would it just be... Nope, I can't put a... This would need to be a path one. So why wouldn't this go? There's no reason why that shouldn't go. I'm telling you, like, these are finicky sometimes and don't actually make any sense. Yeah, just go. Let's see. See if you make it to that block, does this train go? Yep. See, so something like that should have gone. There was no reason why it couldn't reserve that path. And it happens a lot when they get stopped. When they get stopped, it's like they don't understand how to resume. See, like here. What's the problem here? So we have red here for some reason. And that shouldn't be a path signal, that should be a block signal there. So let's look at these again. So this is path. It's an entrance. This is an exit, so that should be path to block, path to block. There. So this should be path to block. And then this would be path to block. I don't want that one there. And what is this saying now? Entry type signals. So that's a path to a block. A path. I think it needs a block right here. Is that what that's saying? No. It's a path. It's a block. So maybe it's just this requires another path here. I really don't... Is it because of what's down here that that's causing that to be a problem? That was pretty great. That definitely needs a path signal right there. That didn't even stop. That was amazing that that actually made it through. Yeah. So it was because it was missing a signal here on entry to this intersection. See, that shouldn't stop it. That's the whole point of paths. Like, you should go straight. Is it because this one reserved the line first? But you should have gone straight anyway. Oh, it's because you went that way. Okay. See, we're learning here. I think I do have it down though. I think it's path to block, path to block, path to block. Now this train, for some damn reason, is just sitting here. I know everything's working over there. I've tested it. Path to block. Like, where are you going that you're waiting for this? path. Yeah, it's because it's a different issue here. Let's do a block here. The idea actually for that is like, I don't want it to try to reserve an entire path all the way. Like block it here, then pick a new path. Alright, looks like our trains are running. Obviously a little bit fucking wild. And doesn't make any sense. Like, then again it kinda does, right? Like, doesn't it make sense? So that's a path, that should be a block, yep. It's a path, that should be a block. Yeah, this one, there's not going to be a path that you're taking that isn't. Yeah, this just has to be a block. Yeah, that's a block. Also, here's where you would need another path. Block. Path, block. Yep. Golden. Alright, our trains are up and running again. All sorts of fucking crazy. We're gonna have to delete some train lines though. We're probably gonna have to we're gonna have to move all of this to under the road. Which, let's find it. It's right here. So yeah, it starts. It's those four. So yeah, we're gonna redo a whole bunch more train lines. I crossed this off on my list in the hub, being so confident that it was done. And then, obviously, it's not. Here's the nice thing also. You could actually technically do that and it doesn't affect the train line whatsoever. Like, it doesn't matter that you're deleting the foundation of the train lines then. We're going to build the path this way, and then we're going to have to figure out how to get shit into the train stations. So we'll take the same approach we just did with all of our crazy intersections, in that we'll build the line as a possibility first, and then let them figure out how they get into those stations. And then obviously we'll have to redo a whole bunch of intersections. There was a time when I first rebuilt some of these train lines that I actually had to, oh, see, like this has to come up to there. That I had to delete some trains because I just couldn't get them up and running. And so I think that one still stays. Autosave time. Part of this might be okay because we'll have a little bit more options on how we route our trains into some of these train yards. I even considered like a secondary line back behind all of these to further route in if need be, like come in this way and go like that, so that we don't clog up some of these intersections, and let the trains figure out how they want to get into that themselves. Obviously, if we were building this for true efficiency, I would just build fucking belts on everything, and I'll tell you right now, I'm increasingly thinking that's the better route. But some of the spaces that we are navigating here are well outside of train or belt range, or reasonable belts, I would say. I'm not going to take a belt, you know, 2,000, 3,000 meters. Yep, so this actually is going to extend like that. So we'll have to extend this and this a little bit just to compensate for that, because definitely don't want some random thing hanging off the edge. Do we have the space for this? Yeah. I also run into issues with deleting these things and then having a whole bunch of cement little boxes laying around. And this flight stuff is nice because obviously we could travel significantly faster to delete this, otherwise what has already taken over an hour for us to do, it would have taken probably 3 or 4. So yell at me in the comments if you think I'm cheating, but honestly, we've got a base to build, a really big base to build, and I need to save some time where I can. This is already a 500-hour save. And if you think about it, we've only got iron plates, iron rods, and screws and concrete built within our main base. Everything else is still supplied by the starter factory. But soon enough, we'll get that all kicked off. The moment trains are running smoothly and you don't have to worry about them, golden. And we made the mistake of how we built these train lines the first time, which means when we expand and build new parts of our base, we'll keep that in mind and therefore not make that same mistake again. And that's the point of me redoing the road to all the way over there, because originally it was cutting right through the middle here, and there's still a road above us, but it directly, if we're following the train line with the road, it directly interfered with our path and therefore made it difficult to route new trains, and then it interfered with production facilities. So just like, it was a bad choice right off the bat. And then when I thought I fixed it, I did not fix it. I was so confident that I marked it off on our list, but today we're definitely going to mark that off on our list and potentially tackle copper and quartz. At least building a train line for quartz, because basically everything else is there, and belting it all up. And then we've got to build a full-on copper factory in the same vein that we built our iron factory, which is to say fucking huge. With what, 204 constructors producing wire sheets and cable. So once we shift the train line to here from there, which that's going to fuck up all of those intersections, but who cares right now, we'll basically be complete with this build. Like, what are you waiting for? See, I want to say this train may have reserved a path all the way through and stopped this one, or there's a train up above that's reserving a path that's stopping this one. Yeah, everybody's fucking stopped. See, there's some train that is holding up another train. And is it that one? So it's not that. Like, what's the problem here? Where are you trying to grow? Screw in. Train is waiting unusually long time. Yeah, also, that just doesn't want to register as a potential. Like, why can't it do that? I don't understand that. But anyway, let's delete that. So, this wants to go to here. I think this is the one that's holding up everybody. Wait, first of all, screw iron in. Okay, why is this blocked? So this path is blocked for some reason. I guess that doesn't need to be a path. That should just be blocks. Because you can't actually pick a path. There. So let's just block that out. Because there's no way that you're choosing a path here. Okay, so you have delete this one. Yeah, now this whole thing should be, yep, this whole thing should be a piece. Which is probably the right way to do that. Okay, this one should be moving now. The other should be moving now. Oh my god. Trains, ladies and gentlemen. They're so easy to work with. And just imagine, like, there's literally no tutorial. Imagine you are brand new to this game and aren't an obsessive like I am, where you watch shit tons of YouTube videos, you watch copy stain videos all the time, you see other people's builds, tutorials from other people on how to build train lines. How do you even figure that out? There's no good description that tells you what's wrong. Like, it'd be cool if they at least did like those little cartoon things like you see at the start of the game when you're coming down the... Look at this fucking intersection. When you're coming down in the drop pod, there's like that screen that has the cartoon on it. I thought that was flashing yellow. That would be a really cool way to visualize. I'm going to leave those, and then we're going to just shift the path to here. We're going back on foot. This is probably too high up. Yep. So you used to be able to turn these. For some reason you can't anymore. They just flip on you depending on the direction you're looking. So that's a little unfortunate. Might have to change the title of this video to just redoing train lines, because holy F. The other part of it is that I want these train lines to have like their own tunnels. It's overkill, but fuck it. What isn't anything that we're doing right now anyway, right? And yeah, we are just going to cross over that. And some of these pieces are definitely going to get cut into smaller ones, but right now it doesn't matter if we cross over because that's not an active line. At least I don't think it should break things, but if it does, we're going to get notified pretty quick. I have all the notifications for trains and stuff turned off on the top. I can maybe turn them on just to have visibility into that, but honestly, you could just see when a train is not moving, and there's a problem. So yeah, speaking of big projects, and doing such crazy projects as, well, let's redo all of the train lines again. This is the third time we've done it. But, you know, sometimes you gotta do things like this. I'm trying to think, actually, now that I think of it, that little nitrogen gas factory that I had up on top of there that was specifically building fused frames, maybe I convert that to be a cooling factory, like a cooling system factory. I deleted it, but rebuild it as a temporary solution to build some of those, so we could build turbo motors, so that we could get a few Mark 5 miners going. I can't tell if that's perfectly even. You could usually tell if it is because it'll do a not a straight line after that. But it's looking good here. Need to go one further. Okay, here. And then, yep, we would connect that to there. Now that's going to fuck up some train signals for sure. Yep, and then let's do this here. And I think it's actually this one that we want. You just kind of get the feel of it eventually. I think that's probably too close, but we'll figure it out. That line won't actually be there. We'll branch off of this one. I gotta love these stupid YouTube spammers in the chat right now. If you click on those links, like, are you a sorry. I almost said, like, are you an idiot? Like, what are you doing? Anybody that even's like, oh, let me see what this VOI.FYI is. Get the F out of here. Bunch of morons. There's people that spam stuff like, or bots that are built by people like, get the F out of here. Do something productive with your time, you know? Instead of creating a bad experience for other people. Let other people have fun. Yeah, our train network is a little outlandish, but the idea of putting the train line here is we could take lines off to the left, which is what we would do with the quartz factory. We didn't have a way to build a train line into the quartz factory. Well, for one, our previous line intersected directly with it. And as I mentioned before, we are guaranteed to have to cut some of these train lines a bit because these are definitely, we're just laying the track positions, and then we'll figure out how we actually tackle the I actually want to look at something. Did we kind of mess this up again? So it would flow there to there. Here to here. We could have the two lines, and then this line here. Yeah, we could have those two lines. I'm okay with that. More options for the trains, the better. But this is obviously not where we're going to do our first block. I'm gonna go here to here to here, and then we're gonna put a block there. Okay, let's cut you a little shorter than your friend. So that's right to right, which is a path. Right to right. Too close to another switch. Yep. So you could basically only have so many cuts here. So we're gonna cut this just slightly before it. We have this in other spots also, but I don't know if that's going to connect or if it's going to say too sharp a turn. No, it's good. Okay. So this. Yeah, so we're going to mess up all the trains here. Let's see what the blocks look like right now. Yeah, we have to put a path here. That's basically the issue. Yeah. So we'll take this one. A little shorter. Is this a path? Yep. So we need a block there. Look at this fucking intersection. You want to talk about complicated. But I think this works, and I think this automatically just allows. So it could be coming in this way. It could also come in this way. So this actually needs to be moved to there. And that should work. Yeah, reserve your path. Go wherever the fuck you need to go. Do we have any trains waiting for a long time? No. Where are you going? Copper ingot out. Oh, look at that. That took, like... Okay. So where do we have the extra lines? Here. Even though we're not using this factory, but we might use it for the future. Here's an extra line. So we have to shift this intersection to this. So if this is an exit, it could go to the right. Oh man, I have to adjust this autosave. Okay. So it'll go to like here. That should be perfect. It could go that way, or it could go here. We have to add a little buffer there. And then this one, as we expected, is going to have to be adjusted to, let's say, here. So it could join up there. And let's say this is no longer a... let's see actually. No, this is just a block intersection. There. There. And it should be there. Okay, so this can get deleted. We no longer need that. We no longer need that path. Here we do need a path, because now that's its own complete intersection, which... do we leave it? So we need to build out the road this way. I might just take it 4 wide, even though it's not technically 4 wide. And again, we're using our good old-fashioned asphalt to dictate what is supposed to be a train line. We got some finicky button presses going on right now. Okay. Do we redo something here though? This is a block signal. Let's fix this. This is guaranteed to be causing issues. So let's go with a path here. That's a block. Let's put another block there. And then a path here. And that's a block. And here, this would have to be a path with a block. Yeah, and that should resolve some of these other train line issues that we've been having. This is a fucking crazy all of these intersections are insane if you really look at this. And like this entire line's gotta go. We have to shift everything to that, because this is where our quartz factory is, and that's the whole issue. We could, so basically here it's gotta stop, and it could go forward and connect with that. Like it sounds like I'm in water because I fell in water when I was... Again, we have the same issue we had before. Okay, the fact that there's a water noise is so funny to me. Okay, so that joins up there, that's totally fine. So far you're not going to run into anything, which is good. And then here we'll take this to like, oh I don't know, right there. Okay, and this I think is just going to be blocks for now. Oh, man. Trains 101. Okay, so we have that one fixed. And we need the inbound of this fixed. So that actually is probably the perfect angle there. The problem is that's going to be a problem. Okay, that's good. That worked out surprisingly well. And then let's go to there, and there. Do we want paths here? Yeah, so they could go straight or they can go here. So I wouldn't want trains going on opposite tracks to stop just because they're occupying an intersection. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, now let's redo this one. Around on tracks that aren't even finished yet. That's an exit, so those can only go that way. Look at these trains utilizing all the tracks. Have we had a collision yet? No. That's there. We'll remove that. And we want another path reserved here. That should be good. Alright, I think we're getting the hang of this. So we can delete this line, this line. And then here's the major intersection that's a problem one. Well, it's not a problem, it's working as designed. But we should probably split this into two lines that join up with this middle line. This is going to get deleted. It serves no purpose. I think it was originally intended for a train lane to go through. And we know we're not using that. So here, this intersection now has to be modified to join that line and this line as well as that with this. So we've got it joined here. I mean, we could forego that entire section and they have to come around over this way. That might be a little bit easier. Let's join this to this and we could deal with that after. So this is an entrance line, which means we would go this way, or we potentially go from this side. Way too far. Okay. And this is a block signal. So now we are going to put paths here. So that's a path. And then that stops at this block. I do think I have trains down now. So, yeah, that's a block. There's got to be a path signal now. That's a block. That we don't want right there anymore. Now we want a path right here. And that should be completely valid. this also work? To here to here? Maybe we do another path signal right here. I'm just wondering why this isn't green. What's the priority here? Let's double check all the signals. Black. Black. So that's a path to a block, a path to a block, or to a block, a path to a block, or to a block to a block. This is fine. Maybe there's something just reserving this. This is green to red to green. That's what doesn't make sense here. So what if I do it here? I don't know. We'll look at that in a second. The big question is, do we want to join these lines or do we want them to just go around? I kind of think we want them to just go around because this intersection is already a frickin' nightmare. There should be a block right here. Path, block, path, block, block, path. Yep. So this one is still showing blocked. Maybe because there's a train on here? I want to see if a train could go this way. Or maybe it's just a very uncommon route and therefore not likely. So yeah, this would be the entrance. That's the exit. That's the entrance. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, well, our train lines are finally redone. Let's see if there's anything we're missing. This intersection probably is problematic. Or do we not care? Like they could go straight or they could turn. Or they can't go back in on themselves. Maybe we don't care here. I'm gonna say it. We don't care. Let's delete all of this in between shit. We're probably gonna have to put it back for foundation for a train line, but or a train station, or whatever. And same thing here. We meant to do a joint intersection here, but it was already too complicated. So, I mean, we could simplify that, but come on now. Who's got the time? Alright, so just want to be clear. This train, this line needs to go away. Actually. That was the big problem. So we might actually combo that line. Yeah, so this whole line goes away. Let's tear it from its ends already. And we're gonna have some stop trains, but I don't want a train on that line. Yeah, like you can't go this way. So our major giant intersection is null and void anyway because it's going to directly interfere with our quartz factory right above us. You know how I realized that all of this was wrong? When I went to go build that tunnel for the trains, because I wanted going through the base. And then I came up here and was like, why is this shiny? The only time it should be shiny is if there's a factory above me. And then I went like this and said, oh, there's that factory, and that directly intersects a train line. So, yeah. So actually we might marry those together now. So I thought we were done with trains. We're almost there. This. I'll delete this. Let's just join this up to minimize flow. Let's go to here. That should be good. Actually, let's give it that buffer. That should be better. And then from here to there. Yep. And then let's redo our pieces here. So that's a path to a block. It's a path to a block. And then another block on this side for good measure. Yep. Now we're for sure going to have trains stuck. Because we haven't built them. A proper path. Like this doesn't need to be here now. This doesn't need to be here. We'll redo that when we combo that. So let's look at what's going on over here. I'd love to understand what the F is going on here, that this is a problem. So maybe we just need another block right there. Might do some paths right here. Let's get some paths in here. If there's two trains on either side of each other, like that, that shouldn't be a showstopper. So this is the output. So that should be a path there. And then that should be a block there. And this should be a path here. And should be a block there. And here, we've got ourselves a path to that block. And here, same thing, path, block, to block, to path, What's your error? Has conflicting entry signal types. That's not it. So let's look at this section here. Oh, it's because of this middle line. Yep. That we're not using. Let's actually get rid of it. The middle lines are going to throw in a lot of wrenches. Well, I know how it would solve that though. You would have to put a block and a path on I. Looks better painted that way as well, I think. We haven't touched this yet because you can't actually build medical inhalers in a manufacturer like I thought you might. Over here I set this up just to give me a whole bunch of ranches. I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll start working on a Christmas factory with like a week left in the event. I'm not sure. Alright, anyway, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to land where we're going to set up, which is going to be right here. First of all, let's enclose this. So we opened it to understand where the road was. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to save. It's a nice 512-hour save. And now what we're going to do is actually erase the, or get rid of the fly mod. So I'm going to exit to desktop. I don't think you'll see anything. Or you'll say start a game, which is fun. Here, we'll change it to this. Starting soon. Nope. Satisfactory mod manager. I almost relaunched the game just there. Oh, there was an update for mod manager. Interesting. Come on, take your time. All installed mods. Pack utility, goodbye. It actually just received an update. That's pretty funny. OneDrive, I never mean to click you. Okay. We should be coming back. There we go. And we're back. You'll see how long this takes to load. While it's loading, I'm going to go get myself another beverage. BRB. Iron plates and iron rods. Because I'm using a 4 freight car train to transport both of them. The first 2 iron plates and the second 2 iron rods. That means we're going to have to build some train stations that understand what material is being pulled up and only extract that material. The train stations now have the ability to just pull off the material that's necessary. So for example, I could have one train station that's 4 freight stations long, and maybe I want I'm trying to think of what a good example is here. Well, let's just use an example. Who cares what the end result? Maybe there's not a product that actually does this. But maybe I want like cable on all four, but I only want iron plates on the first two. Well, normally that would be a problem because if a train pulled up and it had the front two freight cars as iron plates and then the back two freight cars as iron rods, well, then the piece that I need cable on exclusively would get iron rods instead. And that's obviously not ideal. So limiting it to what actually needs to be extracted, I think, is going to be key. And I knew that this is the case, that I built 1 meter foundations there and 2 meter foundations here. And guess what? We are not going to fix that shit today. We may never fix that, if I'm honest. That's just... That might be a listen to a podcast, and we are going to redo all of this at a later date, but that is for sure not happening today. I will save you that annoyance for sure. An autosave coming up, so we'll just let it go. Little error notification in Streamlabs that was saying some skipped frames, so I apologize if the experience was subpar there for a moment. It was likely when I was loading back in and the game was using quite a few resources to just get up and running, because we're not talking about a small world here. As you can see, just carrying around a casual 20-something thousand concrete because it's likely that I'll need it all. Earlier in the video I mentioned that I messed up my back, and it's honestly been incredibly painful for the past couple of days. But today, it's feeling a bit better, and that's why I'm recording this video. Streaming it on YouTube Live also. But using a standing desk. And I've basically told myself that looking forward, the majority of my time at my desk, at my computer, is going to be in a standing situation. For one, better for my health. I'm going to say like probably 70% of my time at the desk is going to be standing. Better for my health. It's likely one of the reasons that I have my back issue. That, and I don't exercise as much as I absolutely should. And that's going to change as well. I need to get back into shape. I was doing great when I first moved here, and then I guess you become complacent. Here we are now. Is there any way to... Let me take a look in the chat here to see if there's any way to... report things like spam or something. I guess not right now. These damn bots on YouTube. Just looking at my train lines, it looks like everything is running well. Do we have any stuck trains? No. We even have our starter train going all the way over here. I think that we have a train line that goes all the way to here. That's like intended to take all the resources out of the desert. Like if we were looking for quartz and coal and sulfur and all of that stuff and not tear down the starter factory yet, it's all there. Caterium's there, although we don't need it because we have Caterium that's not even being used here. We don't even have a quick wire factory built yet. There's a lot of things that need to be added here to make this truly like once we get those basic products in, and then we expand on them and build, you know, the additional floors. I'm thinking it's not going to be 4 floors tall. Each factory will be 2 floors tall, so basically the equivalent of our iron factory as it stands now. That's at least the plan. Then we could take it from there. If we need another iron factory, we build another actual discrete iron factory. There's no harm in having satellite factories. Like we could absolutely do satellite factories, but right now we're building a bit of a town. All of this needs to be filled in too, by the way. This time we can just go this way. We definitely didn't take enough concrete with us to fill this. Also, I think like one time I built like all the stuff above here, and it was something like 50,000 concrete. But you know, I think by the time we've used up the bundle that we have here, it's going to be something like 30,000, 35,000 concrete already. But if you're going to build big, build big. You know, we're not half-assing it over here. I did look at redoing the power plant with a diluted fuel. I did not. So I was going to tackle the turbo fuel build, but bringing in sulfur, which we currently don't have here, is part of that. And then I think it's petroleum coke, that's another piece, or compacted coal or something, that's another piece of that. And we don't have that being produced. So those are two things that, I mean, I think we could produce compacted coal. Let's look at turbo fuel. See what I'm talking about here. So it was this one. Sulfur and petroleum coke. So we don't have petroleum coke being brought in yet. We could. I think we have it in the starter factory. It's might be being sunk right now. But that being brought over would, so I would need a dedicated train for that, and a dedicated train for sulfur, which we also don't have being brought here yet. We do have it at the starter factory, but it's not here. So those two things are obviously the big requirements for turbo fuel that we don't currently have. Now, the other thing I gotta say is even when I looked at the diluted fuel recipe, which is more efficient, we were going to have to build something like 530 fuel generators to take advantage. I have an Excel document where I was looking it up, and that's based off of the 4 nodes over there. Now we would be producing in excess over 80,000 megawatts. So that would be really nice and definitely would hold us over for quite some time on just diluted fuel. That's not even turbo fuel. So just imagine the scope of a power plant we would have to build to get turbo fuel working off of 4 pure oil nodes. So that's what I mean. That would be a build. It'd probably be like half the size of our current factory as it stands. And just imagine, that's, I forget how many refineries it was and how many blenders it was. It was a substantial amount of buildings and resources, which I'm not producing yet to actually be able to support. Like, I'm not producing them in mass, right? I don't have a computer factory going yet. I don't have a heavy modular frame factory going yet to actually be able to support some of that stuff, so. Yep, we're absolutely gonna run out of concrete here very soon. Well, then again, we're making some decent progress. Ooh, the sun finally came out today. It's been a cloudy, foggy day all day today. You know what I'm dreading is building that copper factory. Just based off of the iron factory being what it was. But we'll figure it out. Problem, see, this is why sometimes when I do build like this, I like to use that fly mod, tech utility mod, because I'm going to run out of concrete here, and then I'm going to have to walk my ass all the way back to base to grab more, to then just finish up. Thought I grabbed enough, but clearly not. And here we're over our current power plant, so frame rate definitely suffers a bit here. It's all the particles from the smokestacks. And come to think of it, we probably will build another separate iron factory, or we'll make the iron factory 4 floors. Maybe we'll make iron and copper a 4-floor factory. Maybe concrete and maybe material and maybe quartz. I don't know. Yeah. 4 floors seems so tall to then start our 2nd floor of our actual factory. Okay, I have this idea that later when we have train lines, they'll just be the tracks up in the air, which will look very like monorail-ish. So like, you know, here we're looking at a train line, but if you would look up, standing there, then you would see the trains going on the 2nd floor. So it'd be much less enclosed as this is. I'm just thinking that it'd be like a giant vertical city. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is huge. it's basically a city, but there is a lot of open space in this area. That's why I was more or less going to enclose parts of it to limit that. So like, this train system is going to be our subway train system. And then the next train system, floors above us, would be basically like our skyway. So the streets that you would be walking up there would be like the lower level streets. Like, think of it as maybe the slums or something, and maybe we paint it accordingly. This is going to be fun. We paint it accordingly, and then that basically becomes our like slums area, and then as better and better components are built higher and higher up, like computers, supercomputers, all of that, that's like the next tier up above, kind of in the high rises or something. I don't know. There's some thoughts on how we might want to tackle some of those projects. Nice little temporary way to get right back up here. Alright, so we ran out of concrete. Gotta walk our way back unless we catch a train. Not that one. Yeah, this turned out like pretty well. All in all, minor hiccups in the train stations. None of our trains are broken right now. We have an Explorer somewhere on the top floor. This is the case with Explorers. You basically build them, drive around a little bit, and then you forget where you parked it and walk back, and what's the point of having it? I still have this one staircase here. I gotta redo power lines. I don't like the way that they're run right now. Basically need to get a power line from the factory and then have a train station at the factory. And then all trains will be powered via that power line. That'll be the best way to handle expanding power to basically everywhere. Our factory should be up and running here. I'm just double checking it. Yep. Got power and everything. I still think our iron factory looks pretty good. We absolutely don't need that light there, nor that one. Those were tests. It's not like we're drawing a lot of power from that, but it's not necessary, so I have it. You know, can't hurt. Here's the problem with this setup. You have to like do a weird jump to get up there. We've got another stack for aluminum, but for Mark V belts, because again, can't have too many of those. Dismantle starter, wouldn't that be nice? You do power lines, oof. Street tunnels? Maybe. Cover train floor with walls, yeah, that'll get there. Supports for roads and trains, yeah. more pressing things like actual production first, before cosmetics. I think the majority of the sorting platform is built also. Ooh, for a second I thought this was not connected. It looked weird. And once we get this like finalized, we could actually cover this area with walls, because we're not going to expand the space we're looking at right now. If anything, the expansion is going to happen post there, and post where our power plant is now. Well, our power plant is already being covered by something, but past that, on the way to the starter factory. That's where expansion would happen. Looks like we do still need to build a little bit of a sorting layer. We could tackle that as well. Yeah, this is all shiny. We have plastic on us, we do. Whenever I build like this, I find it's just easiest to just almost borderline do like a little bit of a circle, like an inside out or outside in approach. But then you eventually get to a spot where it's like here, basically knock out the majority of it from one location. Autosave coming up. Drink your water. Would that be a good way to ensure you're drinking water? Every time there's an autosave, then you take a sip. Okay, and that, I feel like, does it for this platform. And this space is fucking huge. Like, can't tell me otherwise. Like, look at just these giant ass platforms we've got. So what we're gonna do is build the perimeter of this, as we know we need that. And actually this needs to go all the way to that, so we might as well just build that right now. And that tunnel system, we are going to extend into the base. So originally how I realized that this entire setup was a problem. So yeah, so that would cut through to here. Then it cuts through even deeper than where I originally thought it would. So yeah, we're just going to continue this path all the way down. And then we're going to fill in this section. And future factories go that way. See a power line up here? That's because I was extending the power from the... Is that all the way from the starter factory? I was toying with the idea of having a power line from the starter factory where I could turn off the starter factory if I wanted. Technically, starter factory is disconnected from our main power plant here, because it's, remember, running on all of that coal power that we had before. And since we haven't really increased any of the production there, it's totally fine. And it could just run on, it's a self-sufficient factory that's not impeding any of the, not eating any of the power here. Now, on the flip side to that conversation, what it's also not doing is providing the excess power to our main factory. So we were over by, I don't know, maybe 3,000 milliwatts or something like that, or megawatts. I'm not sure what the MW is. I think it's megawatts. So we're not getting the benefit of that, which that part's unfortunate, but you know, those are the troubles you have when you build this big. Alright, let's see. Here? Yeah, so we just have to build a second floor all the way up here. Future prepping for these two mega factories, one of which is copper, the other one is, I don't know. Don't ask me what that is yet. We don't have a quick wire factory, so maybe we make part of it a quick wire. And then what? I don't know. We still have the ability to expand that train station over there. But I've been increasingly thinking that we might just build a giant train station in the desert and let that be our kind of thing to carry us, not even into like, well, we're past mid-game, I would argue, but like that might be our end-all be-all. There's so many materials in that desert biome that we probably could get away with hitting all the highest tier stuff just by what's present there. I don't think nuclear, I don't think uranium is present there, but that's fine. We're going to bring in uranium with drones. That's the plan. But first you need a battery factory, you need all types of crap like that. Alright, so that's the edge. And we fill in everything that's outside of this edge. There's our quartz factory. That's not belted up yet. Everything else is Mark 5s. I'm not sure if we talked about that yet or not, but I belted up every other factory that we have in with Mark 5 belts. So don't have to worry about doing that, and everything moving forward is obviously just going to start with Mark 5s. The only caveats here, and I think we did Mark 5s all the way in the train station as well. The only caveats here is we don't have Mark 3 miners yet, but we might build a temporary solution to work through that based off of how we got the fused modular frames going. It's really the turbo motors that's the problem there. I think it's pretty genius that they use something like a liquid or a gas as a part of a recipe, because you absolutely can't handcraft that. So there's limitations to your handcrafting potential. There must be a dividing line here for biomes or something. Not only does it get laggy due to the power plant being somewhere below us, I think it's over there somewhere, but it's just laggy in general in this area. And I wonder why when we talk about, you know, how many thousands of foundations. One of the things I gotta recommend, so when I was out hard drive hunting, this made me think of it due to the amount of foundations here. When I was out hard drive hunting, it was actually difficult for me to tell which ones I had found and which ones I had not. You know, sometimes you remember when you're like, oh yeah, it was a pain in the ass to get up there, so I remember getting that one. And sometimes I would come across like some old foundations that I had not deleted from the last time I was exploring. But if you go to Satisfactory Calculator, there's a website. I'm not sure what the URL is, but you can look it up and find it. They have an area where you could basically pull up the interactive map and upload your save, and it'll show you your base from kind of a top-down wireframe view, which is super cool in itself. But you could also filter the hard drives, and it'll tell you which ones you got and which ones you didn't. So it was really easy to understand which ones I was missing, and which I still had yet to find. Or, yeah, which I said the same thing twice. You know what I'm saying. It was really helpful. Alright. We're actually... I don't think we have the resources to finish this here. But we're approaching that time. Sometimes it does 5, sometimes it does 10, I don't know. I feel like I go to the same spot each time and it doesn't give me the same amount. Oh, did I miss a line here? See what I mean? You get just random shit like this when building the way I build this, but you know, there's I feel like worse ways for this to be built. Fill in these little gaps and just keep moving. Oop. Autosave. Drink some water. The pup is just sitting there staring at me. He's like, what are you doing? The only people that came to the live stream today so far have been bots. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to drop by, and I'm pretty sure you get a notification if I go live and you're subscribed. I'm not necessarily going to commit to like any schedules or anything, because right now I'm just streaming whenever I have some free time to actually jump in and play the game. So I know I've been asked to provide a little bit of a calendar or some notice or what have you. I also don't have enough people subscribed on the channel yet to be able to create community posts or anything like that. I think you need 1,000 subscribers, so if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, consider it, and then maybe I could be a little bit more regular or give folks a little bit more of a heads up as I tend to go live. It's just one of those things that, as I've mentioned in the past, I really just do this because I enjoy this game. And it's really fun to be able to showcase the factory I'm building with other people. And in addition, just get feedback from viewers and folks that watch the videos. It's really fun to have a conversation with like-minded folks that also enjoy this game. I am part of the Satisfactory Discord channel, the official one, the one from Coffee Stain. I'm not very active in there, but I would like to be a little bit more. So you'll see me in there a little bit more also. If that's something you follow. I do find it kind of nervous when I turn around and I don't see the pop, you know? got a puppy. It could be doing damn near anything. And although I do trust him relatively, right now, it's one of those things you just never know. I don't know, maybe we have the materials to finish this section. It's only 70 per line. The frame rate here is bad though. I am lucky that it doesn't suffer so much. Honestly, I was just thinking, because I've been watching, weirdly enough, and maybe this is a little bit of a surprise to some folks, but I just recently started watching Linus Tech Tips videos. Which I get it, like, I don't know, I'm kind of a nerd, so like, why haven't I been watching it before? But I'm really enjoying it. And it's got me thinking, well, for one, should I upgrade my PC? I know the answer there, but sometimes my logic doesn't add up to that. Like, I know I don't need an upgrade. Do I want an upgrade? Yeah, kind of. But in addition to that, I realized I'd never really overclock anything, even though I always buy overclockable parts. So I might consider that. I just want to be careful on the stability of the platform, and in addition, temperatures. I mean, it is a water-cooled system, so it shouldn't be a problem, but I haven't looked into it enough to fully speak to it just yet. So stay tuned. Maybe better frame rates in the future. Although I'm not sure if what I'm doing here is really going to get much better, considering the scale that we are living. Maybe it's also this like shiny ceiling from the factory above that's causing some of the frame rate dips here. Sometimes it's good, but other times it's like when I'm laying down foundations, obviously you see like, makes me think like the particles and stuff, also like the reflections up on top cause that. We might actually have enough concrete. We for sure do, so I think this is the last bit of it. We might run into other little gaps and stuff throughout, but let's get ourselves up to the top here. So, the logical choice is get quartz up and running. The issue there is we don't even have a quartz node to intake any of that. So what's the point? Then, do we focus on building a copper factory? Because we definitely have the ability to utilize copper and actually build stuff. So, I'm thinking that's kind of what we do. Drawings stuff in the chat is asking for the game, for me to buy him the game, and he'll sub. No, I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. Thank you for stopping by though. I'm sure the game's on sale right now. Isn't it a Steam sale right now? It's like pretty inexpensive as is. It's like 30 bucks normally. Like, what's the price on it right now? 20 bucks? It's a very good game. You should buy it. I highly, highly recommend it. What are we gonna do with this factory? Maybe that just becomes a solid biofuel and color cartridges factory. That's probably what we turn that into, because super dumb that you can't build inhalers. Oop. Took my eyes off the road for just a minute there. Alright. We're gonna need a lot more reinforced iron plates. So we're gonna build. I always take a left, and I never go up that path. Let's just take that much. Not enough? Super, yeah. That's more than enough. Let's start building that copper factory. The moment we start getting copper wire, copper sheets, and cable, we can really honestly focus on building the next tier of stuff. Reinforced iron plates, rotors. Ooh, you know what? I just realized what we're going to put into that giant spot next to the copper factory. Steel. That's where steel ingots are going to get produced. Maybe we divide it into steel ingots and quick wire. And that's what... Yeah, maybe that's a good spot for that. Because it still feels like a tier 1 thing, even though it's not. You know, it outputs an ingot. By that logic, aluminum is a tier 1 because it outputs an ingot. But yeah, we could have quick wire and steel being produced right here. Oh, that's a lovely little... Oh yeah, this is where we were testing where the train line needed to go. I thought I patched that though, but okay. So, because we have a nice little factory here, we know the dimensions of this one. So we know that that should be a door, and that should be a door. And then same thing from across. There. Similarly, we'll do that here. And then we'll separate the rooms. So it's here and here. Maybe it's the sensitivity of my mouse for the wheel scroll. I'm not sure. Does anyone else have that problem? If you're playing this game, does it feel like the mouse wheel scroll is a little too fast? If you do, leave me a comment. I want to know if it's me or if it's just like part of like a recent update, because I don't remember it being like that in the past. Yeah, it must be maybe my mouse. I'll have to look into it. Okay, so those are our rooms. Now let's see where the dividing line is for copper. I think... Ooh, do we have iron plates? I bet you we don't. We've got enough. So this is the dividing line here. And you know what we don't have for sure though is silica. So what we're just gonna do is build like this with imagining that this is a Windows. Yeah, so this whole thing is Windows. This is our lovely walkway line. And again, this is going to be, where's our walls here? A little bit different on this side. Okay, so it's actually here. Yep. And here. Just goes like this. You have two entrances. One, if you want to go to whatever factory this is, here's the lobby, and then the next factory that way. So this is the layout of our big builds. Really, I think it might just be iron and copper and such. I think. Was it just one block? That. And that. Okay. I'm basically just building it this way because I don't have silica with me, so let's just build it and then I could add the windows later. We know what the layout's going to look like. Okay, and then this still goes this way. Actually, these, I believe, are like that. So there's a walkway up here. I think that's the intent of that. And there, since there's no like defining walkway that way. Side door, middle. That was weird. It almost looked like it put a door down, but it didn't. And this basically we're building the first floor. I originally thought we were going to do 4 floors for each factory, and it does make me nervous with the iron production because it's not enough for 2 floors. We're already at 2 floors. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's not like it's so substantial that we have like giant excess, you know? You want to be in excess. We want this factory to just be a little, well, I would argue it's already ridiculous, but like really ridiculous, you know? Walls, where's the doors? There. We want a side one here. The walkway, it connects directly with the walkway. If you haven't seen the iron factory. I just realized I've been streaming for 3 hours. This is a long video, YouTube. Might cut it here soon, grab something to eat, and then jump back in and probably finish out this factory today. The goal would be to finish out where is it here? The goal would be to finish this copper factory today. Imagine if we could get it all in one day. Those could actually remain center doors. I guess we'll leave it here for consistency. And we know we want these walls all the way down. That's where the doors fall, is the thing. It looks like, if I remember right, it's here, here, and here. This is where the side door comes in. There. Oh, I'm out of water. Remember, autosave time means it's time for water. We'll build up these walls and we'll call it a video. I feel like we got a stupid amount done today. Or, not just today, but I mean in this video. So I do plan on continuing here soon. I'll tell you as soon as I hooked up that iron, that train station basically filled up damn near almost immediately. So many iron ingots were backed up that it was like a non-issue to get that, to get iron plates, iron rods, and screws just super quickly produced. The thing that took the longest was actually getting the iron ingots to the base. Right, for a while there I was like, wait, is the train actually coming or not? And it totally did. Look at that. That is the framework. Oh, I thought it was done. I didn't finish this wall. Maybe we paint this like a copperish type color. It's kind of the reason why I chose this wall instead of our usual windows or what have you. yeah, that's good. So we've got our separate factories. I'm thinking wire into cable here. So it's really wire, copper sheets, wire in this room, but that wire gets transferred over there for cable. And then that comes down and fills up a train for both sides. A little bit different of a scenario, or maybe we build them like back to back to back. I'd have to look. We're gonna have to see what the ratios are like. So yeah, I could do iron wire, but that just seems like a problem if we have a fully copper station here. If I had a direction straight to cable from iron, I absolutely would take that. So it's 15 to 30. Shit, that's a crazy ratio. And then 60 to 30. Oh, I don't like these ratios at all. That means, so there's 8 780 belts per 8 or 4. Yeah, this is 2 train stations. I don't know, we have to look at that part of it. But if there's 26, it's 1326, so it's 104. 104 times 15. 1560. That's like nothing, so 13 times 15, 195. Ooh, so we're gonna have an influx for sure on here. This will be not hungry enough to support the output, but it will spit out twice of what it's receiving. And then that takes in, oh man, the ratios here suck. What if I bump this up? Well, if I overclocked? I don't like that either. I don't want to spend the overclock shards, the power shards there. I mean, I could give myself about 1,000 of them and just go from there, but the power, we will not support the power. Well, anyway, we're going to tackle that in a future video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And just gotta say, super appreciate it. Thanks again. Have a great day.